welcome back to the next episode of His View. All right, I'm Burke McGee. To my right,
Demetrius.
Corey.
All right, so this episode, we're going to talk about the category of red flags. All right, but first, I kind of want to give a little recap of what we've been talking about. So, His View is a podcast of black married men. We talk about the struggles, we talk about the positivity, the negativity, the ups, the downs, just everything that's dealing with black men, married, relationships, all of the above. So I kind of want to dive into it.
Go ahead.
Red flags. So the first thing that I want to talk about, what is a red flag that may come up with?
Well, I mean, before we even get to that, I want to say, obviously, all three of us are married, so we found somebody compatible with those red flags.
Right, so obviously we
but still, we've all been in relationships. Red flags, point blank, period. Like, my biggest one is if your girl don't have no friends. Like, real talk.
Okay.
Again, friends. Now, I'm not talking associates. Because you can meet somebody and they can say, oh, my friend Don, or oh, my friend Heather or Megan. They don't ever go out with Heather or Megan. They don't confide in Heather or Megan. Don't have anybody around them that knows them, that can hold them accountable on certain things that, normally women would share with their friends. They may not share with us.
So who do they share it with?
What do you mean?
Whatever they. So I guess my question is, if they don't have any friends to talk to, then who do they? I mean, like what they?
Again, that's where sometimes when you're in your own head, you can be your own worst enemy.
Right.
That's where it becomes difficult for you, because now, if you're the only perspective that's out there, I'm not saying that it's bad. Yeah, I probably am saying that it's bad, but it's just they gotta have you gotta have something else besides your spouse, and not having you gotta have some friends. I'm sorry.
I kind of get where you're going. So correct me if I'm wrong. So
Okay.
the reason why you have to have friends, because there's a certain type of attachment that comes along to where every now and then you want to go get a drink, or you want to go get a bite to eat, go watch football.
Mm-hmm.
And if this particular person doesn't have any friends, to break that attachment is going to be hard.
And I'm gonna take it one step further. Say y'all getting into it, and she don't have no friends. That will counteract her already saying why things are going on, and not saying, "Girl, you tripping. This is this situation. Did you think about it from here?"
I just had a thought process just now.
Go ahead.
Like, if she has nobody to tell her whether or not she's wrong, then you in trouble.
Point blank. Period. You in big trouble.
Hallelujah.
You gotta have that balance. Just like if you ain't got no true homeboys and nobody that knows you, you're gonna be a terror for her.
True.
We all gotta have somebody that holds us accountable, that knows us. Yeah. Like, good, bad, or indifferent. Me and my best friend, we've been rocking since we was 6. Know everything about each other. When we having issues with our significant other, sometimes he'll call me, D, this was going on. I may be tripping, but I need you as another mind, because right. I look at relationships and friends like being a boxer. And this is coming out top of my dome. I'm feeling good about this one. Like being a boxer.
All right.
You need a corner man.
Yeah.
True.
Because you in there seeing you in the middle of it. You can't see the punches. You can't see the combinations. You just know you're getting hit. You know you're reacting. When that bell ding, you come over to the side and your corner man throw that water in your face and say, "Hey, you need to dodge the jab." It's the same thing, in having those relationships and having those friends. Your friends should be your corner man. Sometimes they're gonna have to throw in a towel for you and say, "Hey, bro, you need to come sit down."
Okay.
That's good. I like that.
All right, Corey. That's what you feel red flag.
Let me tell you, one thing that's a red flag and has always been a red flag for me is when the family tore up. When the family, everybody in the family, in low down, that's a red flag for me.
That's a big red
flag. I understand your uncle here, your auntie here, and they have their little moments, but when your family just tore up, I can't personally, because I'm going to have to be around that, right? And I'm going to have to accept that, right? And my children are going to have to be around that.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if your family just a super. I don't mind having fun, but we ain't got to have a party every 3 days, right? Because we got to be productive. We got to get things done.
True.
And so when
I like
the family,
having a party every
I like it. Let me tell you, I like it, but it ain't. Let me tell you,
It's not
good to me.
conducive to
Yeah, it's
what I'm
good to
trying
me.
to-
It's
yeah.
not good for me.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
And I need there to be some auntie that can help my children. You know what I'm saying? I need there to be somebody in your family that you can go to that'll hold you accountable, because accountability is important. And I always look at the mother, because I'm like, you know what? This is the stock this child came from. This young lady, this spouse, this is the stock that she came from. So if the mama is thinking in negative ways, or she's loud, then 9 times out of 10, I can get that, because the apple don't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah, because you do marry the family.
Yes.
You married the family.
You marry
Everybody.
the family.
Everybody.
And the funny thing that you said about that, like, I had not to toot a horn or nothing like that, but normally mamas like me. I feel like I'm a likable man, but I haven't had a problem with,
He's
like,
showing his charm, y'all.
no,
That's
real
what-
talk. But I had a situation. It was the only time in my life that I was with somebody and their mama did not like me. That was the Lord telling me, listen, this has never been a flag. You need to pay attention. I did not end up in a bad situation, but you're right. Hey.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say my red flag is, I'm gonna say a woman that's always negative.
That's you.
Always negative.
Example.
Well, I'll just say this. If at some point in life you have to fill your day with some type of positivity, you have to. Coming from where I came from, not to veer off, but I had to learn that losing parents 8 months apart. I started dealing with okay, look, I gotta learn how to implement some type of happiness in my life, because I just can't keep saying, mom and dad ain't there. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Find something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
So if I meet somebody and you're bringing negativity to me, that's drawing me deeper somewhere I don't want to go. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You can't be happy every day. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, your happiness should outweigh your sadness, your negativity. And if that's not the case, then we need to get you help. So that's my red flag. But I have another thing on here that you mentioned earlier that I want to dive into.
Okay.
It's about you can't be yourself.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and I'm one who was, a culprit of that. I've been in a relationship where, I was one way with my friends, and then my girl come around, and I'm a totally different person. To me, I thought I was being the same, or I was trying to mask it as best I could.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, going back to what we just said, my homeboy attacked me and like, Negro, what's wrong with you?
Like, oh, you ain't cutting up.
You're not having no fun, no nothing, and
Like, what are DMs at,
I-
dog? Like, what?
I was so I won't say battered just emotionally at the time, but I was trying so hard to make something work that I lost myself. And when I look back on it, that person was okay with that because they liked that person.
I want you to come back to that.
I don't know if they liked who I was just naturally. And again, we get into relationships and society says it's going to be compromise and you're going to have to change a little bit in order for the thing to work, because that's what working in a relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
I was young at that particular time, a little bit older, a little bit more refined. I don't feel that way anymore, but you see individuals that they are one way in the street, and then their girl come around and you
That's
just
bad.
like,
That's
who
bad.
are you?
Right.
That's bad.
But that's vice versa too.
Yeah.
Your woman should be able to be who she is. If she got to change up for you, that's you know what? That can be a red flag both ways, even for
Yes.
you. If I got to change up or she got to change up.
This is how I feel. I feel like you have to be okay with accepting that other side. If it's not something that's if you just wilding, if your other side is you just too wild, then I think we as men got to sit down and be like, okay, well look, can I change this? I mean, when I say change, I mean change this to the point to where it's like, can I grow up and be a man?
What you mean?
So just say so. Let me back up. So you meet a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants you to maybe, or requiring you to maybe change some of your ways. Now, are these ways you're changing? Is these the wilding, the hanging with the boys all the time, the acting crazy, not being a full man?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this, or is this like you're a grown man, you handling your business, but she wants you to act some, I don't know, polite, subtle type of guy? I think that's where I'm going with that. Like, what type of change are we making?
Yeah, I think, a subtle or incremental change, I think it can be beneficial. But if you're doing something, like say for instance, you got a good career, you working in your career, you with somebody and their family is like, we think you should go back to school to get an advanced degree.
Nah, bro. Nah. Like, that ain't that ain't your decision.
But again, for that particular person, that may be okay. Which kind of, again, going to what you're saying with the not being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's a twofold. One is the individual that's in the situation, and then it's the people on the outside watching the situation happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if the people on the outside watching the situation happen are unhappy with the change that's being made, the biggest thing is, what does that person feel? Do they still feel like they're the same person? If they still feel like they're the same person, on the outside, you may just have to deal with that change. Mm-hmm. But if you as an individual feel like you're changing unnecessarily for your spouse and it's not beneficial, it's just you going through hoops and you don't have an identity within the relationship, that's a definite red flag.
All right.
Let me tell you, I think you should be who you are, but be willing to grow. You know what I mean? Because what happens is a lot of times, me being who I am is not a bad thing, but there's certain areas of me that needs to grow. I have to mature in certain areas. I have to become more humble in certain areas. So a person just changing, wanting me to change exactly who I am, my principles, my morals, that's different than me just changing. Maybe I was getting up at 7, I should get up at 6, right? Because you want your spouse to be that help, to really help you in life. And sometimes telling you what you don't want to hear is that help. Not necessarily just trying to change the whole nature of who you are, because people, it takes time. Number one, I think one of the most difficult things to change in the world is a human mind. Mm-hmm. A person's way of thinking. That's one of the most difficult things to change. And what happens is, for me, I've always tried to just allow a person to be themselves while just letting them know what I can do to be their covering, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you my boy, you going out on a photo shoot and I see you got a booger in your nose, I'm gonna tell you got it in your nose, right, whether you like it or not, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Because I want what's best for you and I want you to look your best when you go do this, right? Mm-hmm. So I want you to change that about you. I need you to change. I need to check out your nose, right? Yeah. And so what happens is we have to know when it's constructive. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not necessarily destructive, because when a person is telling you that there's something about you that needs or could be changed, they're probably saying it for your benefit. Yeah. Now, if a person just afraid of your light shining and they want you to dim your light as a result of them because they're not an outgoing person, so they want you to be in this shell, that's a bit different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nah. And for me, I've just learned, like, you have to be equally yoked with your spouse. You have to be okay with them shining, you shining, and y'all build together. You know what I mean?
I got one. Mm-mm. Is it a red flag if your woman doesn't have a good relationship with her father?
Let me tell you, it's funny. Now that I'm more mature and I can handle a young lady with daddy issues because I understand it, it wouldn't be a red flag for me now. But when I was 23, 24 years old, that's a different dynamic, because I wasn't mature enough to be able to handle that responsibility. But I do think if a man doesn't handle that with absolute maturity, it is very, very tough. Yes. Because she's dealing with so much hurt, so much resentment, bitterness, abandonment, all kind of different things, neglect. You know, so you have to really be wise and skillful as a man that's dating a woman like that. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a red flag, But I think a man really might want to count the costs before he get in that situation because he got to be a strong enough man to
Well, you
handle
have
it.
to first. I mean, you have to understand. Well, learn why
Yeah.
she don't have a relationship with her father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's the biggest thing. You got to learn the why.
Yeah.
And then once you find it out, then I think it's a better way of, you know, you moving forward with it. But I want to dive into another red flag that came up.
Okay.
And I want y'all to give me your opinion. So, previous relationship, I had a red flag with a woman always wanting to go in your phone. Always.
You sound
And if you ask the question, I think we talked about this earlier, we was joking. If you ask the question, like, what's up? Why y'all? Is there a problem? No, there's no problem. Then you shouldn't worry about me going through your phone. I don't have a problem you going through it because you're actually in there right now and we're looking at it together. But the thing is, let's start from the beginning. Why do you feel the need to always want to check? And when you ask that question, it makes it seem as though you have the issue. But like, so help me figure this out. Are we wrong for asking why?
No, and listen, y'all heard me say it. I said I don't care if I'm on fire, don't go through my phone, and that's just me. Like I feel that if you feel the need that you have to go through my phone, there's another issue that we should be talking about.
Okay.
And hopefully we're mature enough to get to whatever that issue is as to why you feel the need. Now, I'll put the disclaimer out here. Yes, my wife has the passcode to my phone.
Yes, my wife has a thumbprint on my phone, so I just want
So-
to put that out there. Like
so-
she has a thumbprint.
So,
Yes, she
so,
do.
but I've also said don't go through my phone. Just don't do it. Again, for the reason of if you feel the need to go through my phone, let's talk about the root of the issue.
If she going through looking, but if she just
if she
can't
like,
find her phone and she
no. Now, again, going through my phone is let me see your phone so I can go through all your DMs and read every comment and everything that you didn't have. That's going through my phone. Like if you, hey, you know, you sent me this picture. I want to grab these pictures off your phone. Here you go. Grab the pictures off your phone.
Okay.
You want to grab the pictures off my phone? Fine. There's no need for you to go through my text messages. That's what I'm saying. You know, why are you in my emails searching stuff? Why are you in my search engine?
You're looking for something.
Putting in certain words that you hope to pop up so you can click on certain things.
And
But
see, it's the nature of it is going back to why, right?
Yeah.
Are you doing it because of maybe past hurt that you dealt with and now you have trust issues, or you're dealing with it because there's been infidelity in our relationship and now you still having trust issues with me, or what the case may be.
Stay right there.
Mm-hmm.
So if we did create the infidelity, then what's your thought process on her?
Oh, now you're in restore mode.
Yeah.
You gotta restore it. So
Okay.
there are gonna be some. You're not in a normal relationship at that particular point. So there are gonna be some abnormal
And
things
you
that
should
you have to go
understand
through.
why she's doing certain things.
Now, with that being said, I can also say that, you know, is it a death sentence? Meaning, is this for the rest of my life? And this is where the vulnerability comes in. And your spouse, there's only certain amount of healing that you're going to be able to do. The other half is going to come from, in my opinion, from the other place. There's nothing weird. I could do everything you're asking me to do, and you could still not be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be work on both sides.
Okay.
So, but don't want to digress into a whole nother conversation. But again, those red flags is what we're here for.
All right, look, we're going to take a little break, and I do want to dive into one of the topics that Corey gave us on the second part. All right, so we'll be back in a little bit.
Go.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna change it up. Well, not change it up. I'm gonna move to another question that I have, y'all. So, how many red flags before you be like, I think it's time to move on?
I say listen to that little man that's in your stomach.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we get told, and we can hear it loud as and clear, but we often ignore it for making a reason to stay in it.
So let's stay with that. What are some reasons that we ignore?
I think it depends on. I would say there's different types of red flags.
Mm-hmm.
Within red flags, you have that bright red one that's that non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You have some that are a little lighter and then a little lighter. You know what I mean? And it depends on where it hits. And every man is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the reason why I said you're going to have to listen to that gut. There is no magic number in my head where I can say she did 3 things, leave. I don't think, we're going to be at that particular point.
And I'm in agreement with you because I never forget this one situation. I thought this chick was the one. And when we got to know each other a little bit more, I saw that she had Buddha everywhere in her house. And I ain't knocking Buddha, but it's just not my faith. Mm-hmm. And everything leading up to that was amazing. And then I realized her faith was different from mine. And that was just that one red flag that I needed. You know what I mean? It wasn't 1,000 of them, because sometimes we'll see the red flags and overlook them. Like we were saying, sometimes a young lady might be physically attractive. Mm-hmm. So you might see 20,000 red flags, but overlook them because she look good and you want her, right? So now your common sense and your spirit is going out the window because of, what you truly desire. But sometimes it's one red flag, sometimes it's others. But like you said, you have to listen to the spirit and go from there, and have the courage to move on.
Yeah, and it's never too late. Never get into a situation where you didn't recognize I done passed up 12 red flags, and then be like, well, I'm just gonna figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
but again, when you're in those situations, as men, if you have any compassion, you're going to tell yourself, I don't want to hurt this person. If you're not at a certain place in life, you're going to say, this is what's supposed to happen in relationships. You know, you go through things, and that's what makes it strong. And we're building a foundation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not at a place mentally to recognize how toxic that is, you know, you can end up staying in something, ignoring those red flags. So again, just for me, listen to that thing in your stomach. And y'all know, you know what it feel like? Everybody's had that feeling in their stomach and that tightness in their chest. Mm-hmm. You feel heavy, and you know something ain't right.
Then you start to actually look at them different. Yeah. You know, I mean, because you got to think about it. If you're dealing with a bunch of red flags, you're not just like, oh, you the love of my life.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I just can't wait till I see. You're going to be like...
You start to look for
reasons.
An exit out the business.
So, while we on there, how important, while we on this subject, how important it is for us to listen to our intuition?
On both sides. Females and males.
Yeah, females, so definitely. We not just... We speaking from our point of view, but...
Yeah, it's imperative. That's why you have it.
Yeah.
You know, God put it there for a reason.
And, you know, just to everybody that's listening, you know, also don't be afraid to put your happiness first. I think that's very important. And that's hard because the other side of that is somebody may call you selfish.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're being selfish. You know, because you hurt me. You're being selfish because all you're thinking about is yourself. And you have to be strong to say, yeah, I am thinking about myself. And I hope you think about yourself too, because this is...
I definitely, you know, and the reason why someone told me that at one point, because I was like, I want to be happy. Like, we're not happy. Like, we're fussing too much. You know, we can't agree on anything. Like, I just don't feel that it's growing anywhere. So when it came time for me to end it, it was like, you wrong. What am I wrong about? Like, you're a great person, but we just ain't, we ain't matching.
I mean, we said this in an offline conversation. People know how to get together. We do not know how to break up.
No.
we And then normally when we break up, we burn the house down, we burn the bridges, we let the water out the tub.
And it don't have to be like that.
It don't have to be like
you
that.
know, I think sometimes people are afraid to just of the unknown. It's unknown. You've been in this place of comfort with this person for all of these years or for all of these months or whatever the case may be, and it's a scary thing. You know.
Starting over.
Yeah, and then what happens is, especially when you're doing it maritally, now you're looking at people. Are they gonna view me differently? You know, but people don't have to live in that house with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they can say everything they want from the outside. It's almost like a fan watching the Pelicans. Everybody in the stands have something to say about what Zion Williamson should have did, but none of y'all ain't on the court doing it.
Yeah.
And so what happens is people from the outside, some people's view of you going to be tainted as a result of the split up or the divorce or the breakup. But you know what? I've learned sometimes some things are necessary.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and sometimes even us as men and women alike, sometimes women need to look at, even I tell women in the church all the time, don't become so spiritual to whereas you don't realize that your husband isn't a natural.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you super spiritual, you praying all day, but that man have some physical needs that he need. It's almost like if a man is paying all a woman's bills, but he's not spending time with her.
Yeah.
You can't think you to provide her so much. I paid all of the bills when she needs you to provide her attention, right? And so what you're providing is essentially not what she needs or wants, but you think this is the thing because that's what manhood is about. I gotta pay these bills, I gotta do that. When she like, I just need your attention and your affection.
Go ahead preaching right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Go
So-
ahead.
But it
That's
takes
real.
it takes to be real and be honest. And
Yeah.
what happens is a lot of people are holding themselves back. They're holding themselves hostage to their history instead of pushing on to their destiny. And what happens is
Hey, you
situations.
better write that one
Listen
down.
to
Hey,
me. Situations
I
happen.
got my pen and my paper
And,
right here.
and most people don't realize that. Let's just be real. If it don't work out, it's okay. Even when, especially when you have children involved, because I have a son by somebody before I got married. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is it makes it that much tougher to raise that child in a different house or in a different environment. But what happens is, do I want my son to see this toxic relationship? Though?
No.
Right? So it's give or take. Either this relationship be toxic, we fussing all day, that's what he think a relationship is, or I remove myself from it, she removes herself from that unhealthy place. Because it's not necessarily just about happiness, it's about really healthiness.
Yeah.
Because you want to be healthy.
Exactly.
Because stress and all that, it'll kill you.
And I'm not to veer too far off subject, but you know, the other thing that often happens is that you get out of that relationship, you want to make sure that it's not toxic. It's not toxic.
Right.
It's actually a better relationship, and then the question is, why couldn't we do this together?
Yeah.
And then that's a whole nother conundrum,
Right. Yeah.
because you're like, oh man, I ain't. Because you know, again, we've shown that we can communicate.
Right.
We've
Yeah.
shown that we can do.
Yeah.
Well, why? And again, that's probably a topic for another day. Relationships are one, even in what we're talking about. Regarding can you be friends with your ex? It's like if you break up in the right manner, it makes it a whole lot easier. But you
cool.
got to set them boundaries and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is absolutely true. Like,
Man, you like,
I mean, I just think life is really about balance. You know, people see me and they see me teaching here and doing this and doing that, but they don't realize I like to have fun too. You know what I mean? I'm one of your lit friends.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know me, so I know when I'm going too far.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And what happens is a lot of people don't exhibit that balance. You know, we gotta have fella time where we just shoot the breeze, but then there's that work time. And for me, what I've learned in life that's helped me, especially with my time management as far as balancing family and work and all these different things that I juggle, is being exactly where I am. So if I'm at work, I ain't thinking about home, like not in that sense, in a negative way, but I'm focused on work because work is extremely important. But when I'm on vacation, I'm on vacation.
Right.
I don't want to be on the beach with a pad. I want to be on the beach with a beach ball, having fun with the children.
Yeah.
So it's just knowing how to be wise in every situation possible.
man, I hope y'all listening, because Corey is preaching. Like, I mean, I had a thought, And then I done got caught up listening to him, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna listen.
But look, let me tell you this. I ain't perfect at all this stuff.
Yeah,
But I mean, I
just
just went through the ups and downs of relationships and learned a little something.
But even in that, it's necessary. Like I said when we first started, we're regular people,
Right.
And that term sometimes gives a negative connotation because nobody wants to be regular.
Yeah.
But even your celebrity is regular.
Yeah.
Everybody deals with something, and oftentimes it's the same thing. It's just maybe the tax bracket is a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants love. You know, everybody wants somebody to be true to them.
Man, bruh, spitting a lot of knowledge. So look, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back, and I want us to provide everyone that's listening with some positive, more deep positive feedback and solutions to everything that we just went over.
Yeah. Solutions
All right.
to those red flags.
Yes, sir. See y'all in a little bit, man. What's up? Welcome back. And in our closing, we're going to talk about what are some red flags that we have learned about ourselves that someone has told us. And I will kick mine off with being that I didn't communicate enough. Meaning that, you know, some things that I felt that I should have kept to myself was some things I should have actually communicated about. And when these things come up, then it's like, oh yeah, no, it ain't oh yeah. Because you should have said this from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta, and then the thing is, it's like when you're learning to mature, sometimes you take the little small steps for granted. Meaning that, okay, well I ain't gotta say, you know, but then when it come up, you like, man, I should have, no, now I can't trust you. I don't know what else are you hiding?
Yeah.
Then it comes with the other thing when I ask, well, now when you create this type of scenario, and then people going through your phone, then you really can't trip or say nothing because now you're not communicating or talking the way you should. So, Corey, what you say? What would be some of the red flags you've heard?
I'll probably say that I was selfish.
Okay.
You know, and honestly, I can agree in certain senses, you know, because at times I didn't think of their well-being like I should have, or maybe I could have called more and communicated that I was moving here, moving around a little bit more. But I heard it, and I really had to look at self and say, you know what can you change about you to become better? Not only for other people, but for yourself as well, you know, because I thought I was living my life of service to everybody else, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I also did have to realize that when it comes to home, I was being selfish in the sense of I'm doing all this running for the church, I'm doing all this running for this and that and this and that, and then when I get home, I lack energy there, right? I'm ready to just be tired, I'm exhausted. When the children are like, no, Daddy, we don't care nothing about what you went through today.
No,
we need your attention. We need to wrestle. We want to do all these different things. And so I had to grow from that, man, and really look inwardly and say, you know what, you need to change this and be more selfless because it can lead to your demise if you aren't careful. Because it ain't about you all the time. It's all about your family and your team and everybody that's around you that supports you. So I just had to make some adjustments within me because I didn't want that to be a hindrance to myself as well as my people.
Yeah, I have two. One I did well at, and one I didn't do so well at. One I didn't do so well at is actually saying what was in my heart and in my head. I oftentimes had a bridle tongue, which is good, but sometimes I'm not communicating that. I'm saying everything you want to hear and not the really thing I need you to hear.
Yeah.
Which cause issue because then it's, do you not trust me with this information? Why can't you be this vulnerable with me to know I can handle it? And that's something that I had to work on. One that I passed on, I got asked a random question one time. I was like, how's your relationship with your mother? And I just so happened to be going to bring my mom lunch that day. And she was like, why are you going to take your mom lunch? I was like, because it's Tuesday. It's something that I...
Right.
But again, that was like one of those, for her, she's actually my wife now.
That was important.
That was important for her.
Yeah.
That was one of those things early on. It was just kind of like, you know, I found that out later on, but that's big.
Okay. So I want to kick this off by saying that to everyone that's listening, I want y'all to understand that, you know, we're going to end this with positivity because we also want to make sure we give the people some things that, you know, that they can take home from this. Even though we're talking about, you know, red flags, X, Y, and Z, understand this, us as men, we have to, and I mean, you talked before, we have to understand that in changing, like Corey say, you know, balancing your life, make yourself vulnerable to understand when you're not living up to the expectations of yourself. Not others, the expectations of yourself. Meaning that as a man, as a father, as a friend, as a husband, there are certain things that we have to do. You know what I'm saying? There is no shortcut to that. I think everyone has to understand that. I mean, and sometimes, listen, like we talked earlier, we've all had some long roads to get to happiness or get to success or whatever the case may be. But we cannot be afraid to talk about it, which is what we're doing today. And we damn sure cannot be afraid to put it on the table and go through it. You know, so I want you all to chime in your pieces as far as...
I always say, you know, you want to have fun. This is the only life that we get. Relationships are work, but they shouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
There's a, you know, work, yeah, but they shouldn't be hard. As far as those red flags, again, sometimes you gotta silence the noise. Be okay with looking inward. If it's okay with you and you're good, sometimes you gotta block out what everybody else is saying. And I would say to everybody else, if that person is okay in their situation, even if you don't agree with it, let that be their situation. Be a support. Be there when they need you. And if they do need you, don't well, you didn't want to listen to me last time. You know what I mean? We're all here to live in community, and I'm so happy that we're in this particular space. Right, wrong, or indifferent. We're here to live in community. Continue to live in community. Brothers, you're going to need some brothers to help. Sisters, you're going to need some sisters to help.
Yeah.
We all here to be here for each other.
Man, I just, it's a lot about self-improvement, because what happens is, there was a time that I was looking saying, what she can change, what she needs to do. But reality is, I wasn't being the man that I should have been. And I hear a lot of brothers say how their woman is not submissive. But I promise you, when you're submissive to God, it makes it that much easier for her to be submissive to you. And so what I've learned is it's knowing that you're in a relationship with another human being, so you have to give them grace. Everybody needs grace. And I realize I need grace because of all the mistakes I made. I want God to give me grace, but here I'm giving my spouse no grace. Here I'm putting her to this standard of Mother Teresa or something, when she's just not that. She's growing. She's a work in progress. And understanding that I am as well, it allowed me to be a little bit more graceful towards someone else when I know their pursuit is really genuine. But just that communication and understanding. I would tell anybody now, what I've learned is build your house off of wisdom and understanding, not just love. Because there's some people right now who still love each other that are divorced. But because the man or the woman didn't possess that understanding, even a lot of people have said, you got to communicate. Communication is great, right? But if you're communicating in Vietnamese and I don't understand that language, you're communicating to me, but I don't know what you're talking about, right? So understanding is important. And that's something that I've learned, just to have a little bit more understanding, exhibit a little bit more patience, and also know that it's a faith walk. Because the man you currently are is not the man that you're becoming. You still need to be worked on, and it's a process for us all. And so maritally, just having that constant communication and understanding, and understanding that you have to give your spouse a little bit more grace. Because what happens is they're still growing, they're still learning, they have emotions, they get frustrated, they get happy. But like you say, man, one thing you say that I love is just have fun. Mm-hmm. Have fun, man. And that's what I think nowadays people don't have enough fun, especially when they begin to take their faith walk. Because now religion can have you in such a place to whereas you think if you and your spouse go down and have a glass of wine that y'all the devil. Right. And that's not the case. Yeah. So we have to just enjoy our lives, but understand who we are and what purpose we stand for.
Cool. Listen, it was some great content. I promise you, bro, I loved every opinion, and I hope everybody that was listening did the same way. I hope you feel the same way I felt about everything. Listen, give us some feedback. We appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, we're going to continue on doing this. Yep. We're going to continue on spitting our opinions, our knowledge, and we're open to feedback. So listen, thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Good night.